All right, our top story now. There was high drama during the Lok Sabha ethics panel meeting today, attended by Trinamool Congress MP Mahua Moitra, who's facing the cash for query allegations. Mahua Moitra and opposition MPs, in fact, walked out of that meeting questioning the way the meeting was conducted. They alleged the committee had asked personal and unethical questions to Ms. Moitra, and one of the MPs leaked details of the meeting to the media while it was underway. Now, the committee, however, hit back, saying Moitra did not cooperate and left in order to avoid answering more questions.
It's an ethics committee. Asking all sorts of specific questions. All the MPs are.
The conduct of the chairman of the ethics committee unethical.
महुआ मोइत्रा के द्वारा उसमें सहयोग करने के बजाय क्रोध से क्रोधित होके कमेटी के ऊपर, कमेटी के चेयरमैन के ऊपर अशब्दों का प्रयोग करते हुए और साथ ही साथ जो विपक्ष के जो ये लोग थे, इन सब लोगों ने बहुत ही क्रोध में और बहुत ही अनएथिकल बात करते हुए कमेटी पे आरोप लगाने का प्रयास किया।
All right, let's go across to Vasudha now for more on this story. And Vasudha, Mahua Moitra, they're claiming she was asked filthy questions and she and opposition MPs walking out. The panel head saying that she did not cooperate. Give us more details of what went down during that meeting and also what happens now.
So, Gargi, a very interesting day for Mahua Moitra and also a very important day for the ethics committee as well. She was asked to present her side of the story. She was summoned earlier on October 31st. Of course, she sought for an extension and today was her day of presenting her side of the story. Now, what we understand is that the ethics committee also received reports from NIC, which comes under IT Ministry, MEA and Home Ministry, because they had written to these three ministries asking for Mahua Moitra's travel, login and IP addresses, and that information was there with the ministry, with the ethics committee, and a lot of time was spent on basically looking at these details. Now, two important things have emerged. According to my sources, the NIC has basically said that rules of Parliament login had changed in August this year. So there is no OTP that apparently comes on the MP's phone. It is the same device that, from where the login credentials are keyed in that gets the OTP. So that is one thing that they suspect Mahua Moitra was not accurate about when she was giving her TV interviews. The second thing is her questioning of the ambit of the ethics committee to look at criminality of MPs according to changed rules in 2014, and this is what my sources who are in know of the matter are saying, that according to the changed rules in 2014, ethics committee is empowered to recommend criminal prosecution of MPs after the disqualification. So that also makes the ethics committee really very powerful. So in this case, what we understand was that, of course, the meeting was dramatic. It did not start with that kind of drama earlier because apparently in almost for 1.5 hours, Mahua Moitra was, of course, asked to present her side of the story. They went through details of everything that the ministries had presented, and towards the end, the cross-examination began. And the cross-examination, the ethics committee during the cross-examination was very clear about knowing this one particular thing. What was the nature of the relationship between Darshan Hiranandani, the industrialist who has been accused of giving bribes to Mahua Moitra in lieu for asking questions that were meant to perpetuate the interest of his companies. What was the nature of this nature between both of them? Where all did she travel? MEA and Home Ministry have also submitted details that she was in about 7 foreign countries. So they wanted to know the details of these funding, who went with her, and basically to decide how serious the nature of this relationship was and how, what kind of information was passed on. And in fact, there was also a question asked as to how an unauthorized person could get access to security login. Of course, she has walked out, and what we understand right now is that the ethics committee could be filing a report with parts of her defense and submitting it to the parliament.
Right. In fact, Vasudha, she's also written a letter to the ethics committee, the subject of which is unethical, sordid, demeaning and prejudiced behavior, meted out to me at the hearing of the ethics committee by the chairman. And she's listed several points saying that she's writing in great anguish. And so these are what she has said through as she walked out of that meeting as well. Something denied by the panel that claimed that she, in fact, did not answer their questions. Well, news now from Rajasthan and a look at the news involving the enforcement directorate in the state. Today, the enforcement directorate summoned Rajasthan Congress President Goin Singh Doa's two sons next week in connection with an alleged exam paper leak case. Now, on the 26th of October, the ED had conducted raids on the properties linked to Doa, prompting a sharp reaction from the Congress party, and who said the ED action just a month before assembly elections was scheduled, that's November 25th, was slammed by the Gehlot government as political vendetta. But also interestingly, today came the news that two enforcement directorate officers were arrested in Rajasthan for allegedly taking bribes. The two officers allegedly took 15 lakh to stop a case from being filed in a chit fund matter. There you can see those visuals. The Rajasthan Anti-Corruption Bureau in a statement said the two officers were caught while taking the money. Well, let's go across to Harsha for more on this. And Harsha, while difficult to link the two events involving the ED today, but interesting at a time when the Congress has been hitting out at ED action and calling it politically motivated, and then you have the news of two ED officials being arrested.
Yes, in fact, they were caught red-handed. Kishore Meena and Babulal Meena were actually, there was a trap which was laid for them. And there was a chit fund scam in Imphal in Manipur. And these people were, Kishore Meena is an enforcement officer with the ED in Imphal. And he had apparently been asking for 17 lakhs in bribe. He was caught red-handed while accepting that money. They live in Bassi and Jaipur, and this issue actually happened in Alwar. So definitely, yes, now the ED under scanner also in that senses by the Anti-Corruption Bureau. But yes, it seems to, somewhere being played off by a central agency versus state agency, because the ED is hot on the heels of Goin Singh Doa, served summons to Vaibhav Gehlot as well. Goin Singh Doa's sons have now been summoned in this entire case. And of course, you also have, Om Prakash Hudla, the independent MLA who's got a Congress ticket. He went there to, file his nomination, and you have the ED landing up there also. He's had a lot of, remember, he's the one who was crying after that ED raid. So I'm sure he wasn't too happy to see them at a day when a nomination is a show of strength. So the ED landed up there as well. So yes, somewhere I think it seems to be agency versus agency. Perhaps we are reading too much into it, but it definitely is quite a coincidence.
Right. All right. Harsha, thanks so much for joining us with all those details. Well, let's switch focus now to the cricket news, and it was a run fest at Wankhede today as India it posted 357 for 7 against Sri Lanka, and there's been a massive collapse by the Sri Lankan team against India. It's lost 8 wickets for just 34 runs. Let's go across to Osama for all the highlights. And Osama, what happened?
Well, what happened is a demolition job that Indian pacers have done against Sri Lanka, and this is not the first time that this has happened. You remember the Asia Cup final where they were bowled out for 50-odd runs, and the destroyer-in-chief, the wrecker-in-chief, Mohammad Siraj, he came back to haunt Sri Lanka yet again. He picked up 3 crucial wickets right at the beginning after Bumrah took the first wicket in the first over. Again, the Indian pacers have been on fire. Mohammad Shami, who came into the team after Hardik Pandya's injury, came in, picked up 5 wickets against New Zealand, then picks up 4 wickets in his next match, comes to this match and has already picked up 4 wickets, and we are waiting. There are still 2 more wickets to go. It might just be a 5-4 for Mohammad Shami again. The spinners haven't come to bowl yet. Sri Lanka are 34 odd runs for 8 wickets. Remember, the lowest ODI score is 35 runs. The lowest ODI score in a World Cup is 36 runs. So there was a fear for Sri Lanka as a team that they might be bowled out before before the 35-run mark. But currently they are 34 runs for 8 wickets, and like you mentioned, it has been a massive collapse for Sri Lankan team. They in fact won the toss and they invited India to bat first on a wicket that was two-paced, but the Indian batters, they were in tremendous form in who have been in tremendous form in this World Cup. They went on to score 357 for the loss of 7 wickets. There were 3 half centuries. Virat almost got to his 49th century. In fact, Virat Kohli, he managed to break one of Sachin Tendulkar's record of most 1,000+ runs in a calendar year. He has done it 8 times. Sachin has only done it 7 times. Shubman Gill, he almost scored a century at Wankhede. Shreyas Iyer. The best news about this Indian team is the fact that Indian batting has come together, and everyone is chipping in, everyone is performing, and Shreyas Iyer is one of those players who wasn't really in top form, but in this match, he also managed to get 80-odd runs. So it is great news for India at this point of time. Sri Lanka are just 2 wickets away from losing, and it is going to be a massive, massive victory for Team India if that happens.
All right, so massive collapse by Sri Lanka, and India sealing that semi-final berth. Thanks so much, Osama, for joining us there with the highlights. Well, let's return to political news now, and skipping the Enforcement Directorate summons today in the alleged liquor policy case. Delhi Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal instead held an election rally in Madhya Pradesh's Singrauli. Kejriwal was scheduled to appear before the Central Probe Agency's Delhi office this morning, but he wrote a letter to the ED asking them to take back the summons to him, calling it illegal and politically motivated.
Will he? Won't he? After hours of speculation, Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal skipping an ED summons, his first in the liquor policy case, for a trip to election-bound Madhya Pradesh. In a scathing letter to the probe agency, Arvind Kejriwal dismissed ED's notice to him as politically motivated and issued at the behest of the BJP. He said the summons was leaked to BJP MPs to tarnish his reputation. Asking the ED to recall the summons, he said the agency did not make it clear whether he is being called as a witness or a suspect in the case. With the BJP upping its ante against Arvind Kejriwal's move, a fresh flashpoint in Delhi.
तो बड़ा दुर्भाग्यपूर्ण है कि मनोज तिवारी जी को पता था कि ईडी अब अरविंद केजरीवाल जी को समन देके गिरफ्तार करेगी। इसका मतलब जो पटकथा है, जो स्क्रिप्ट है, वो भारतीय जनता पार्टी के मुख्यालय में लिखी जाती है। ईडी का, इन्वेस्टिगेशन का, मेरिट का, सबूतों का कोई लेना देना नहीं है।
अरविंद केजरीवाल ईडी के समन से भाग रहे हैं। अरविंद केजरीवाल सच्चाई से सामना करने से भाग रहे हैं। ही डज नॉट वांट टू फेस द ट्रुथ। जांच से भागना एक तरह से ये एक्सेप्ट करना होता है कि हां मैंने गलती की है। कट्टर ईमानदार अपने आप को कहते थे, बाद में सिद्ध हुआ कि ये कट्टर बेईमान है।
This as Arvind Kejriwal hit the roads in MP and Chhattisgarh. On his third visit to MP in 6 months, he stopped for a road show in Singrauli in the politically strategic Vindhya Pradesh area, where he hit out at the BJP.
जिस दिन चुनाव के नतीजे आएंगे, मुझे नहीं पता मैं जेल में होऊंगा कि मैं बाहर होऊंगा।
But even as Arvind Kejriwal looks to expand his party's footprint to new states like MP and Chhattisgarh, where he has fielded candidates on almost all seats, another AAP leader now on the agency radar on their home turf in Delhi. Party veteran and Delhi's Social Welfare Minister Rajkumar Anand searched by the Enforcement Directorate in a customs-related case. With agencies closing in on AAP netas in an election year, will people accept the party's political vendetta rebuttal, or will it dent Kejriwal's political ambitions? The Enforcement Directorate is moving fast with the investigation, especially after the shot in the arm from the top court in the liquor policy case. A fresh summons to the Aam Aadmi Party boss is expected soon. The liquor scam heat is only intensifying on Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal and the Aam Aadmi Party. They call it political vendetta, but the fact of the matter is that this has dented their Kattar Imandar image. At a time when Chief Minister Arvind Kejriwal is campaigning in poll-bound states, it is becoming increasingly difficult for his party to wriggle out of corruption charges, with a big battle of 2024 now perhaps just months away. In New Delhi with camera person Ashok Mahali, Vedant for NDTV.
Now let's get you the latest on the Israel-Hamas war, and Hamas have said that 195 civilians were killed in the Israeli airstrikes on the Jabalia refugee camp. The United Nations has said that this strike on the camp may constitute a war crime. This is hundreds more crossed over from the Rafah crossing from southern Gaza to Egypt. This is the second day that we saw people crossing over. Meanwhile, China is positioning itself as a mediator in the conflict.
A satellite picture of the biggest refugee camp in Gaza, Jabalia, close to Gaza City. It sheltered almost 160,000 people in just 1.4 square kilometers. Now Israeli airstrikes have turned most of it to rubble. Hamas health authorities say almost 200 civilians have been killed and scores injured in the attack on the camp.
اللي احنا واقفين عليها هذه دار عمي، دار ابو علاء مسعود وابو نبيل مسعود. هذيك دار اختي لسه ما زالت تحت الانقاض هي واولادها ودار عمها كلهم، عائلات كامله تدمرت انمسحت، فوق ال 30 دار هذه تدمرن كلهن هذول انمسحن عن بكره ابيها، عمارات وقعت.
Israeli defense forces defend the strikes by saying they had precise intelligence about terrorists in Jabalia camp. But the UN Commissioner on Human Rights warns an attack on a refugee camp may constitute a war crime. Meanwhile, US Secretary of State Antony Blinken is going on a second tour of Israel and Jordan. On the other hand, China too sees itself as a mediator in the escalating conflict.
Together, China is very much concerned about the situation and in particular the escalation and the deterioration in Gaza. It's also our understanding that we should keep the situation under control in Gaza first.
Amidst call for ceasefire, Israel has intensified its airstrikes and ground attacks with the target of wiping out Hamas. It has suffered losses too in the battle, and Hamas still holds 239 Israeli and foreign hostages. In Delhi, Kadambari Sharma for NDTV.
A smoky haze that shrouded Delhi thickened today due to a surge in farm fires and unfavorable weather conditions. Doctors have issued warnings about breathing issues being aggravated, and the air crisis is expected to get worse. Scientists have warned of a spike in pollution levels in Delhi NCR over the next 2 weeks.
A cursory look outside the window if you live in the National Capital Region would have shown you a horrible low-hanging brown haze. It hurts the eyes, it makes it tough to breathe. But this is an annual reality in one of the most polluted areas in the world. Reports now say that you live at least 10 to 12 years less than you may have if you lived in an area with cleaner air, a statistic with no meaning for millions in this region who have no choice but to stay and breathe what is all around us, essentially poison. While the air quality in the capital spiked to the dark red or severe category in some parts, the real impact of toxic air can be studied through the concentration of toxic micropollutants. In Delhi today, PM 2.5 counts in Anand Vihar, an area notorious for high levels of pollution, touched 999. That's 70 times the upper limit set by the World Health Organization. At Srinivaspuri, the PM 10 count was 691, which is 15 times the long-term safe limit, which essentially means it can cause chronic respiratory illnesses. At Mandir Marg, the PM 10 count was 679, which is nearly 16 times the safe limit. At 3 p.m. at National Stadium, the PM 10 count was at a whopping 602, 13 times the safe limit. While PM 10 pollutants are toxic, the lethal cancer-causing micropollutant PM 2.5 can penetrate the lungs and can cause long-term pulmonary diseases and even affect the heart, the kidney and the brain. So where is this all now coming from? Multiple sources for sure, but satellite data doesn't lie. The farm fire situation in Punjab, agricultural stubble burning, an annual feature this time of the year, has galloped in the last 5 days. Let us show you what we mean. This is data which comes from NASA's WorldView satellite. The red dots show farm fires. This is an image of the 28th of October. Government data indicates there were just 127 fires. On the 29th, it went up to 1,068. On the 30th of October, it went up to 1,030. On the 31st, it shot up to 1,389. And yesterday, it raced to 1,921. Let's take a look at an animation package which shows the changes in the number of farm fires in Punjab. There's been a 1,410% jump in farm fires in Punjab between the 28th of October and the 1st of November. Today's data comes out tomorrow. Across North India, even satellite imagery can pick up the haze that we've been speaking about. Let's show you yesterday's image and compare that with a random day when there is no real air pollution. Now, this is a normal day. I picked the 3rd of October. It shows North India. As you can see, it's all largely green. Here's what North India, including Punjab and large parts of Pakistan, looked like yesterday. Let's compare the two in a split screen. Let's now superimpose areas of farm fires into this image.
And finally, as King Khan turned 58 today, he had a gift for his legions of fans. He dropped the teaser of his much-awaited film, Donkey. And like every year, fans continued the ritual of visiting his house, Mannat, and cheering for SRK on his special day.
Screams, cheers and chants. SRK mania in the fandom on the superstar's 58th birthday.
We love SRK! We love SRK! We love SRK!
While SRK fans celebrate him throughout the year, 2nd November is nothing less than a festival for them as the Jawan actor turns a year younger. What made this day extra special was the teaser release of his next film, Donkey.
Fans from all over the country camped out in front of his house Mannat in Mumbai just to catch a glimpse of the superstar. Some wore SRK t-shirts, others waved flags made especially for the icon, and some sang his hit songs. 2023 has been a memorable year for SRK. He's won back the title of Badshah of Bollywood by breaking box office records. And his fans cannot be happier to end the year with another SRK film.
उनमें एक लड़की है, मन्नू। हमारा जो पहला बच्चा होगा ना, उसका नाम मैं आप पे रखूंगा। आप अपना नाम बताओ बस। वांगी पुरप्पू, वेंकट कुप्पू। कोई बात नहीं सर, हम लिख के दे दो।
From a 5-year-old to a 50-year-old, age is no bar. Everyone has only one name on their lips, Shah Rukh Khan. Here's wishing the King Khan a very happy birthday. With cameraman Sanjay Mondol, this is Abira from Mumbai for NDTV.
All right, a happy birthday to King Khan there. And with that, it's a wrap from me. News updates continue on NDTV.